What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And a quick reminder to play. This is your last week. Beyond Two Souls and Rayman Legends, both offer free on PlayStation Plus. Download those this week because that's ending soon. And come back at the end of this week. We'll be talking about them on Plus Club. We'll let you know what we thought of them. Let us know what you thought of them. I actually just beat Beyond Two Souls. So hoping you'll be able to do the same. I know you're actually pretty far into it.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have a full spoiler discussion, which will be fun. I know Chris has also beaten it. And our game of the month is Portal Knights, a game I've played some of this month. I don't know if you've touched it.
I haven't touched it yet.
We'll have to touch it real quick. Real fucking quick. But that will be Friday's show anyway, so we have the most time to do that one.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, that's kind of like an open-ended game, so...
Yeah, you could play for like maybe an hour and get I'd prefer if we played it longer, but you'll still be able to get a gist of it. We've played it before. So play that, come back at Friday, and we'll talk about it on Game of the Month. But with that, really slim pickings this week on news. Almost everything is speculation on E3, which we could do all fucking day. We're going to avoid that. That's tasty cast material. And a lot of stuff on PUBG and Fortnite. Go figure. So speaking of that, first bit of news with PUBG officially suing Fortnite over things they find were replicated from their formula. And also PUBG coming out and saying that they feel like there's a lot of meaningful improvements they could be making for PUBG, and they feel like they've fallen short. While they're all doing that bullshit, H1Z1 came out on PS4, and within 24 hours amassed more than 1.5 million players. They say, we believe we found the right balance for Battle Royale on console, and players have responded positively to our reimagining of H1Z1. H1Z1 came out a while back as a DayZ clone, so this is a different mode. We will continue to refine the game based on feedback from open beta to ensure the best experience possible for actively growing community, said H1Z1 producer Terrence Yee. And also worth mentioning, this is only on PS4 right now, and PUBG is not on PS4, so it is there in its absence. Mm-hmm. What do we think about 1.5 million players in 24 hours? And so far, it's success on PS4.
I also want to throw a note in on the lawsuit aspect. That is in Korea only right now.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Well, that's where the company that owns PUBG.
Right, but they're not suing Epic in multiple countries. It's specifically Korean law they're trying to do right now.
Probably 'cause they don't got a fucking case here.
Yeah. And so obviously going into opinion and whatnot, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that lawsuit in Korea, because if, let's say, they do succeed, will they go to other countries and try pursuing more lawsuits, or will they just kind of stop there?
And it's also interesting to note too that they already have a deal with Epic because they use Unreal for the game, so it's a very fucky situation.
Yeah, and we've said it before. Those guys are. It's weird because like the battle royale genre obviously existed, but they kind of made it huge, and they were a small company becoming this really hugely played game on Steam. We rooted them on, and they got to the top real quick, and then they just like freaked out the moment anyone else tried touching that.
And we talked about it off camera a little bit, but it seems as though there's like two different ways you can go about once you hit the top. You either keep trying to like invent the genre and push it, or you try and legally stop people from being able to take what you got. Mm-hmm. And it seems like they took the second way through this, which is kind of disappointing to see.
Yeah, well, especially with something so broad, and they're not going to succeed in this. I can't see how they could. There's too many people making this now at this point. I
mean, you got fucking heavy hitters like Call of Duty and Battlefield. I mean, Battlefield hasn't confirmed it, but they've said it would be great to be in there. So.
Yeah. So once again, I really wish these guys would focus on just making the game better, and proving themselves versus like telling everyone else they're not allowed to do it. It's really
they made their successes based off of a mod that was popular in a niche crowd, and then they got a lot of success, and then so I mean, like it already there alone kind of shows. And I don't want to talk too much shit about them because we did root them on, and I won't take that back. That was awesome to see. But it definitely is an example of seeing people, fame and fortune getting to your head. Right. I mean, and they're, again, taking the lazy route of kind of taking a mod and refining it, and now trying to threaten people to not threaten them, essentially. And when they're talking about how they kind of have like fallen short, I mean, I think that's true in a lot of senses. Yeah. If you look at Fortnite, we talked about this as well. Fortnite is
updating constantly.
I mean, they got like partnership with Marvel and shit. They're being really proactive on fucking making that game new and exciting constantly. It's in the fucking news all the time about new updates. I can't even keep up. I don't play the game, and I'm just like,
even people on YouTube who don't play games find a way to incorporate Fortnite into their content right now. That's how hot it is. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's fucking insane. So I mean, like, PUBG can be doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. They're not, though. They're rolling out one new map every like fucking 5-6 months.
Yeah, it's slow.
Yeah, and I've been hearing about it for a long time, but they have like a shitload of fucking hackers. I haven't ran into any when I played the game, but I mean, like, I hear it all the time. It's a huge problem. And I actually sadly enjoy the way they did the fucking free to play mobile PUBG. Not the way it plays, but like the system better of actually unlocking things and getting daily stuff.
Our coworker said the same thing.
Yeah, too. It's a much better system. I was like, why is this not in the full game that I paid for?
It's weird. It seems like whoever was in charge of the mobile port had a better grasp on like getting that hook into people.
Yeah. If that's how it was fucking on PC, I'd be playing right now.
Yeah, progression's a big deal. So moving to the H1Z1's launch, that's awesome. It obviously shows that, first off, the genre's still super strong, and that people were clamoring for a PUBG or a more realistic style game on the PS4, because Fortnite's very cartoony and it's on everything, which is great for Fortnite. But there are people who aren't into that. I mean, it's the same as I remember when World of Warcraft was coming out. The big turnoff for me was the art style originally. Yeah. And that's the same thing I could see, I hear, in fact, when people talk about Fortnite. Well, it looks so cartoony, it looks so silly. Those type of people. Yeah.
He's like, it looks kind of like cartoony. I'm like, it absolutely is.
It is. So people, there's a demographic out there who wants a realistic looking game. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily like photorealistic, but you know what I mean. More natural colors, yada, yada, yada. So they're filling the void. Good for them for getting in there, even though their company did some really crappy stuff to employees as soon as it's launched. But yeah,
what'd they do?
Remember they shut down the studio right after it left beta?
We talked about it. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Really, really crappy. Oh, game's out. All we have to do is maintain it now.
Yeah, so, No, we did talk about that, which is really fucked up.
So, it's weird. Out of all the people in the battle royale world, two of the companies are just sleazy as fuck. And
they're both smaller companies, which is interesting. Epic's been around for a while, so I think they might have learned their lessons of that kind of shit earlier on. Because smaller companies have to learn these lessons. Companies like EA, they still haven't learned their lesson. They made a lot of money in the fucking 90s.
It's because they get away with everything.
2000s, yeah. But yeah, it's really interesting to see kind of that very shameless cash grab of trying to get that money right now.
Oh yeah,
make it a product people are going to play. And yeah, it's crazy. And it's funny because like Epic seems to be. I mean, the only thing they did was kind of shut down Paragon and made complete sense. But I mean, I don't know.
They were very transparent about it.
Yeah.
Even though obviously, like, I was disappointed to hear it. But yeah.
Oh, dude, it sucks. I fucking loved Paragon.
But yeah.
But yeah, it's success outside of the politics of fucking battle royale companies. It's cool. It's cool to see that. I'm glad people are liking it because I've been playing it like nonstop this whole weekend. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It is more my style. I like the more tactical shooters over the more cartoony jump around
Looney Tunes
shooting of Fortnite. And I do play Fortnite. I play the co-op mode, Save the World or whatever. I like that. I just don't like the battle royale too much. It's too hectic for me. But I do like H1Z1. It's really fun. Very minimal and simplistic in what it offers, but it just works and works well. I've only had an issue like twice so far, and I'm glad to see there's a lot of people playing it because I need people to play with. So the community does kind of suck though, but it's a lot of people who probably have never played the game before. So you get anytime you join a room, fucking it's up in the air who you're gonna be with and what the hell's gonna happen. But yeah, it's cool to see it succeed, and it makes complete sense. I knew this was going to do well just because in the absence of PUBG being locked on Xbox right now, anybody who makes something close to that is going to make money quite a bit, because Fortnite is a fucking monster, but it's a specific monster. It doesn't have vehicles, and I don't think it should have vehicles. But
jetpacks, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it has jetpacks and booster pads and shit. Really creative, like you said earlier, like Looney Tunes shit. But it doesn't have like 4 people getting in a car and like fucking shooting other people in cars, stuff like that. Something PUBG has, something the H1Z1 has, and I think they should keep that shit. And Fortnite should not even touch it. It doesn't need that shit, but it needs the more zany stuff. And so yeah, without PUBG on that console, they're pretty much giving H1Z1 the fucking go ahead to make all this money. And smart of them to do so. Smart on their part. Fucked up of them to be getting rid of people after they created the game. I don't like that. I forgot all about that like an asshole. But still, yeah, it's a fun game. I definitely recommend it to play it. That's everything I got to say on it.
Yeah, I mean,
it was kind of more interesting, just all the fucking politics of battle royale games right now. It's crazy. And PUBG is not, there's no future in them trying to sue anybody who is replicating what they replicated. It's that's really desperate and kind of fucking sad.
Yeah.
I've read stuff. I forgot the guy's name who made PUBG.
Player Unknown.
He's got a real fucking name though. He seems like an out of touch dude. He seems kind of like an older gamer dude. He might be not that old, but he kind of seems a little older than like people like my age. And he seems really entitled. Like he does believe he created this. It's really weird because I'm just like, there's no reason you could even possibly believe that. Anyway, anything else?
No.
Let us know in the comments, what do you think about H1Z1? I actually streamed that recently. Make sure to check that out. Let me know what you think of it. Have you been playing it? What do you think about Battle Royale games? Are you sick of them? They're still doing well, and I think they're going to do well for a while. Me and you kind of estimated another like 3 years is a good estimate. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm sick of these. They're already at their end or whatever. It's like, no, Call of Duty and Battlefield are going to do fucking fine. Like that's not the end of it. If they would not have even put it in the games. But yeah, if it was, let us know. Segment news.
So, game we've talked about a couple times on the channel, Star Citizen.
I know what that's like.
Has a new add-on pack that you can buy right now called the Legatus pack. It comes with 117 ships and 163 extra things like upgrades and skins. Here's the fun part. It costs $27,000. Also, you have to have already spent $1,000 on Star Citizen itself. Otherwise, the page for the pack, 404 errors. Though there's a note here saying 117 is almost every ship in the game right now. And another note, this game has made a total of $185 million in crowdfunding, and $35 million of that in 2017 alone. So what do we think about the Legatus pack and how much money they've made, and essentially how much they still are just kind of working on this game in very early access?
This game is crazy because this is a game that I've wanted for a long time. I have no reason to not have it. I haven't played it yet. I think I'm just kind of waiting for it to be like in a stage where when I buy it, there's going to be a lot of shit to do. Right. Yeah. I just been kind of watching the development and just like jaw on the fucking floor. Just like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then I'm just like, but they're still kind of working on that planet system. They're still working on this. They're still working on that. I want it to be cohesive. I want it to just work when I play it. But that's amazing. First off, 185 million on crowdfunding alone. Just like fucking people going, we want this. That's insane. And it's amazing, too, that these guys didn't take that money and run. I mean, they're working their ass off on this game. It's pretty much turning into every game you could ever fucking want, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
As for this Legatus pack, or Legatus, where the hell, any other game, I would fucking find this weird. But they already had packs that were like hundreds of dollars.
When they had 4-figure packs.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because like, and pretty much you're getting ships that other people probably aren't going to have. But also I think you're getting like, probably some kind of like title or something like that, so people know you're like a high spender. I remember reading something like that, or maybe you're in the credits or something. I don't remember. But so this game has been making a lot of money, and there's a lot of diehard like space like flight fans out there who are spending this money. I mean, it's happening because they wouldn't be offering it otherwise. Something like this, I'm sure they're probably like, who's gonna fucking buy this? But somebody will, I guarantee it. With that many people backing it and people who are just like clamoring for this, I feel like somebody's going to do it. That's fucking buying a car. That's crazy.
You're buying 117 of them.
117 ships is a shitload, but we're still talking about digital fucking content. And it's crazy to me that there's something out there offering that. Do I think it's right or wrong or anything like that? I don't even think about it like that. It's just, most people aren't going to buy that, and there's no reason you have to buy that, obviously. It'd be fucking crazy if they're like, you're going to need this. But some rich person out there who's got like a fucking full-on like immersive room for this shit, guaranteed is going to buy that.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to fly around. They're probably going to get some kind of cool thing that's going to show off they're that guy, and everybody's going to fucking grief them. Which, fuck it. I was going to say they should, but that's fucked up. It's interesting, though. The big thing for me, though, on this is just knowing that there's around 117, if not more. I think they said that's almost all the ships. 117 ships and 163 fucking upgrades. That's a lot of shit they've put in that game. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, I'll pass it back to you what you think about this, but also you think it's likely someone's going to buy that?
I absolutely think someone will buy that. If I've learned anything from free-to-play games, you have people out there who have the money, and this is what they decide to do with it. So there will be some people. Obviously, this isn't for the general public. Like they don't expect everyone to buy this. This is literally just for certain people. And these guys offer, if you ever get a chance, check out their store. They have super affordable entry level packs, to get into early access, like $30 or something like that. And boom, you're in. So there's a disclaimer, I think, on most of this, basically saying you are buying into development of the game.
That price point is not necessarily buying the digital content. It's just right that they give that to you. They probably averaged out what the price of all the shit would probably be, probably lowered it quite a bit. But when you spend that $27,000, that's a backer. That's a fucking,
you're a producer.
You're a producer. You're an investor at that point. You're really believing in this product.
And these guys have been really good about that. There is plenty of different packages for people with all sorts of different income options. So I'm with Seth on this as well, as far as like why I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm just kind of waiting for the Wild West aspect of it to calm down a little.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of griefers there for a while. I was like, I don't want to play that.
Well, there's a lot of stuff they're still like working on, like you said, and once they get it settled down to where they're not necessarily offering development investment packs, and it just turns into you want to buy your way into the game, more simplified system, I'll be more interested in getting into it at that point. This game does look amazing, though. Every time we watch something like probably like once a year on it, so we're never like fully up to date. So we always get this like huge surprise of where they're at in the game at that point. Which
unless something really is popping because people are like, "This is amazing," then I'll watch it. But a lot of times I just kind of let it do its thing and check on it.
Yeah, so it'll be exciting to see where this game goes. This is an example of crowdfunding actually going the right way. There are plenty of horror stories out there of people just taking the money and running, like you had said earlier, and these guys,
or just not updating their game.
This guy also has a name, though. He's the guy who worked with Microsoft Studios to do Star Lancer and Freelancer. Yep. So he's not new to space games, and he's not new to development.
He sure as fuck went from making some pretty cool games, though, to deciding he's going to work on like one of the most ambitious games ever.
Well, that's why he quit making them, because he wanted to take it in a direction that games couldn't do yet. Yeah. And then when they did get there, he made his own company, and this is what's happening.
And we live in a time now where he can do this, because the amount of time it would take to produce this game, no big company would allow.
Oh, hell no.
They're not going to be like, oh, it'll take like 6 years to work on it.
Microsoft cried at Platinum Games for taking too long on Scalebound, and look what happened to that.
Ended it, yeah. Well, that game you're working on, fuck it. It's over. We don't want to do this no more. And Konami was very adamant about that as well.
Oh, side note about Konami real quick. When I went to the casino, some of the slot machines are Konami ones.
Oh, I bet. Fucking, they're infecting over here. Those. Yeah, don't. Yeah. They don't deserve no goddamn money. I don't even know if that's how it works though with them. I don't know if they're like renting them out or if they get sold.
They get sold, I guarantee it.
Probably. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No. Like we kind of said, I can't wait to check this out. Here in a while when they show off something else crazy that I haven't seen in a while, and be just completely blown away that someone's making a game this crazy. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think about Star Citizen in general. What do you think about this $27,000 pack that gives you 117 ships and 163 extra things like upgrades and skins, and that you had to have already spent $1,000? It's kind of like getting invited to buy like a Bugatti. You have to have proof that you have the money to do this. $1,000 to get access to it. And are you thinking about buying it? And if so, if you got that kind of money, why not support the channel? If you're just chucking that money around, we'd appreciate it. But yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to the Legatus pack and Star Citizen. Last bit of news is an interesting one, specifically for me because I kind of watched something unfold that kind of leads into this. I remember about a week ago, maybe a week or two ago, Colin Moriarty, who used to be on Kind of Funny, he does his own thing now. He's on Twitter, and people were speculating if like we'd get like a PS5 reveal at E3. And people were like kind of getting angry, like, "Oh, I just fucking got mine," blah blah blah. And he's like, "Well, yeah, I could see this thing coming out in like a year. It's getting to that time." And I was thinking about that. I was like, "A year?" I'm like, I get where you're coming from, 100%, but a year? That's really fucking short.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the huge titles coming out soon. There's no way that thing would have a fucking.
Yeah, there's a bunch of first-party games still coming out.
But I know. I mean, Last of Us 2 is not even out yet, and that's huge. That's gonna sell consoles.
The Samurai game that's coming out. Ghosts of. I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, he was saying that, and it's funny because like a couple days after that, fucking Sony came out and said that there's at least 3 years left on the PS4. A lot of people have been talking about that, speculating. What does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. Well, they came out and said a couple things in an interview. This guy tweeted, in an interview with Bloomberg Japan, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Kodera says his company considers various options around the PS Vita. Again, this is something they're talking about. This comes after his predecessor House said last fall that portable gaming is not a big market. He says that while PS4 and Vita are separate machines, home versus portable, Sony is continuously looking for ways to offer unique gaming experiences. While he doesn't use the word PS5, Kodera says again that the PS4 entered the final stage of its life cycle as of now, and that Sony will spend the next 3 years preparing for the future. So yeah, that kind of answers it. They're saying there's 3 years left on the thing.
They're working on dev kits already.
Yeah. That was that was why it kind of started coming up. There were rumors that dev kits were floating around. So what do we think about essentially what he said altogether? PS4's life cycle, and what do you expect from PS5, and when do you expect it?
So how old is PS4 right now?
I don't.
It's at least 3 years, right?
Yeah, I'll look it up. Just keep talking.
So if it's 3 to 4 years, we'll say, and if it's another 3 years, it's a 6 to 7 year cycle. I mean, that's pretty fair. It's
also interesting too because somebody was talking about life cycles on consoles, and they're saying the PS3's life cycle and 360, their life cycles were longer than normal, and that's because of 2008.
Well, of course,
they couldn't afford to make new consoles yet, and that's when people were talking about the end of consoles as well.
It's funny because you can actually tell with I don't have too much to say on the Xbox because I didn't really play the Xbox One that much, or 360 that much. I don't play the Xbox One that much either. But the PS3's user interface was getting really laggy towards the end. You could tell they were kind of had pushed it too far.
November 15th, 2013.
So about 7 to 8 years then before. That's a fair life cycle.
In 3 years from now?
Yeah. So I'm hoping, and this is obviously, I'm sure a lot of people will agree with this, that even if it is the PlayStation 5, which they said that isn't necessarily what they're talking about, that they at least keep the infrastructure, because the one thing I'm really enjoying right now is with these, the PlayStation 4, your Xbox One, your Xbox One S, One X, PS4 Pro. You have a bunch of hardware that all runs the same infrastructure, and I hope they continue that trend because I really like the idea of having access to my library, and I think it'd be a really smart move sales-wise.
On that note, the other day I put in Black Ops and Black Ops 2 on my Xbox One, and they played. The servers were still up. The game played the same. I downloaded my DLC packs, and all my progress and all my builds were there. It was fucking insane to be able to do that. And I thought about it. I'm like, holy shit. If they keep doing this, the Xbox One will literally just be the Xbox.
Which I'd like to see both systems
And when the next Xbox comes out, which they've already done the Xbox One X, which is the most powerful console out there right now, it's an Xbox One. So if they do one after that, it's probably going to do the same thing. You're literally going to own all the Xboxes in one console, which is fucking insane. So like if the PS4 would do the same thing, there's not being specific about PS5, but if that comes out and it still has like that UI infrastructure and understands how PS4 runs, but still has the power to play newer games, that'd be amazing. I mean, essentially at that point, they're making their own PCs with Windows on it. Their version of that.
You know what I'd like to see, actually? Because they did talk about Vita a little bit in here, too.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see the next iteration of console, and I'm sure everyone would be like, they're ripping off Nintendo, but like a Switch-type system where it's portable and home console at the same time.
You already play some PS3 games on Vita.
Well, my whole point, though, is if they essentially make the Switch, except PlayStation's version of it, they don't have to worry about if the mobile market isn't good in the States and the console market isn't good in
or
Japan.
Having to support two individual
they can
priorities.
One thing that does both.
Yeah.
The tech is there, obviously, and Sony, is the type of company that's going to use the newer tech. Nintendo obviously wanted to make an affordable thing. Sony's going to come out with a easily, $400 or $500 machine and be like, oh, that's what it costs, So hopefully not 500, but they've done it before. So yeah, I think if I was going to speculate, I would like to see that, but at the very least, I really hope it is an extension of the PlayStation line and not just a new start.
Yeah, this is the first time ever when the prospect of a new console popping up that I didn't have the same reaction I normally do, which is like, oh fuck yeah, dude, I want a new console. I do want a new console, 100%. If it released tomorrow, I'd probably buy it, but I'm still very much enjoying my PS4. I honestly think PS4 is probably one of the best consoles ever made, which fanboys of any console out there, that you don't agree with me on that, to each their own. But the lineup on the PS4 is probably one of the strongest lineups I've seen on a console in a long time. I think one of the last ones like PlayStation. That I was like, this thing's fucking legendary. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm super comfortable with my PS4 right now, and I think the graphics are still getting better on this fucking thing. Which is crazy. I mean, I have a PS4 Pro, but like half the time I'm not even using it on the 4K TV. So, I mean, like, and it still looks great. I mean, Last of Us 2 is going to fucking look amazing. God of War looks amazing on that thing. So, I mean, like, I'm not even like, there's a point with a lot of consoles where I'm like, I'm ready for the next one because this is starting to feel like it's tapped out. This thing's not yet. It's not. Even the Xbox isn't, and fucking, so I'm not clamoring for a new console yet. I'm still like 3 years. Yeah, I can wait that. Maybe in like 2 years, a year and a half, I might feel different. But right now, I'm not ready for a new console. So, I'm glad that they're saying, it's in the end of its life cycle, which is kind of weird to hear. But I also think it's really interesting. Their wording, they're not being specific, and they're not going to be for a long time. But we're not going to get even like a showing of it for like another 2 years. But they're talking about Vita, and they're talking about PS4, and they're talking about the future of PlayStation. They always say that too, the future of PlayStation. So I think you do kind of got a good point. Like, are we getting PS5? What about Vita? I can't imagine them making another mobile console, even though this guy's talking about how the other guy wasn't into it, but he's looking into it, which is interesting to hear. The whoever's running the place, has that say. So it's always interesting to see that get switched out because they can change everything. So, I mean, will we see some kind of hybrid, something that will just work with your console?
I think it was one of the smartest things Nintendo ever did, and it shows.
Oh, it's one of the best things Nintendo's done in a long time, for sure. The Switch was fucking...
It would not surprise me
got their mojo back.
Another Japanese company follow suit.
Yeah. So. I just not to a certain extent, just because Sony is such an inventive but practical company.
Oh yeah,
they make TVs that work, cameras that fucking work, fast fucking focuses, powerful consoles, shit like that. But But yeah, I mean, the most crazy ideas I've seen them come out with is the wands for their PS4. I mean, I think the Kinect was crazier than fucking what Sony did.
Oh yeah.
The Kinect was nuts. It fucking tracked your fingers and shit. But yeah, this stuff's exciting though. I mean, this is the beginning of, now we're starting to talk about new consoles. So I mean, we got another 3 years of this slowly churning out. I'm excited for it. I am interested because, like I said before, back on the last console cycles, people were talking about, are consoles dead? Are we even going to get new consoles? Is it all going to be digital in the future? All this shit. And now it's almost like that never was discussed. They're just like, PS5, we'll fucking we're working on the next, whatever the hell it is. And now we have these modular consoles. And it's like, what is the future? It's really hard to tell. I know what the end game future is, but as of right now, like, to get to that point, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah. It's also interesting to note, too, that Sony's still selling PS4s very strongly. Yeah. I think in April they outsold Nintendo and Microsoft that month. And that fluctuates a lot now because, people have gotten comfortable with all the systems. But the one thing to note is they didn't sell as many as they have been, but their number of people who subscribe to their services went up. So investor-wise, the investors are still happy because they're making a lot of their money from digital services now instead of hardware sales. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Another thing that's kind of interesting I was trying to find here is they also said in the ending life cycle, hardware sales are going down, obviously, because a lot of people have the console. Already, people are buying less parts or whatever. But they said because of subscription services like PlayStation Plus, it actually helps out quite a bit, which is kind of interesting because that wasn't a thing, back in the day. Yeah. So it's kind of...
Yeah, they got PlayStation Plus, they got View, they got PS Now. They have a lot of services that they offer that people... use. So
yeah. Whoa, shit, that's funny too. 80 million units of the PS3 sold in 2013, and oh shit, where is that? PS4 launched in 2013, makes it the console of all historical trends. The system had sold more than 79, so that's fucking crazy. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, we can speculate on this all day. It's really, really interesting though. When he says 3 years, I mean, I see it. I wasn't even thinking about this until people started bringing it up. I was like, oh, fuck, you guys already think that, huh?
Yeah, look at when it came out versus 3 years. I mean, that's 7 to 8 years. That's about right. So,
well, it used to be like 6.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that
but then it got
extended because they did that bump in the with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, and
yeah,
so.
Well, and like I said before, the PS3's life cycle was extended because they didn't have the resources or the risk, the ability to take the risk of popping out a new console when no one had money. So, really interesting stuff. Anything else you want to say on that? Let us know in the comments. What do you think about 3 years? How long do you think we have with the PS4? What do you think PS5 or whatever the future of PlayStation is going to be, or the future of consoles? Let me know anything you're thinking about when it comes to that. Where do you think we're heading? What do you think about the PS Vita? I know there's fans out there more than I ever normally think. They always pop up like, oh, I love the Vita. And it's like, well, what the fuck, man? Where were the goddamn sales? I guess they just didn't support the thing very well. Yeah.
Sega with the Dreamcast. So,
yep. Let us know everything you're thinking of when it comes to this shit. And that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word. Make sure to hit the notification or button to be notified when I go live, and have been streaming again. I stream actually on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so you can watch me wherever the hell you want to watch me. And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And like I said before, this week we're doing Plus Club and Game of the Month at the end of the week, so play those games, come back and talk with us about them. But until then, my name's Seth.
We did this.
We did that. And
but I'm Chevy.
Yeah. Have a good week, guys. Take it easy.